Hi everyone. So I apologize for the informal background here. I'm on holiday, but I wanted to sit down with you guys and talk about the subject of abortion because I saw a post floating around on X saying that 28% of Gen Z has been aborted. So the generation born between 1997 and 2012, 28% of those children have never been born because they were killed in the womb. And now my stance on abortion is not one that is groundbreakingly new. It's not a new addition to the debate necessarily. But I think that some things deserve to be said over and over and over again, and in fact cannot be said often enough. And especially when it comes to abortion, which to me is such an unequivocal evil, we have to repeat these facts all the time because a lot of lies are being told about abortion and they stick with a lot of people. I've noticed that all of my political career, but because before people come for me and say, oh, but you've become a Catholic a few years ago and you're a mom now, so of course now you're against abortion. Yes, I am against abortion, and yes, this has made it all more personal, becoming a mom and being a Catholic, but I've always had this stance. I've always opposed abortion, also before becoming those two things. And the reason for that being is that I think that scientifically, intellectually, and morally speaking, the only valid, good faith, and consistent argument that one can make is that life begins at conception. If life begins at conception, that means that a separate human being has been formed in the womb. The stage in which that life finds itself, or whether it is dependable on the mother, or any other person for that matter, is not indicative, is not decisive for whether or not it has the right to life. Because the right to life is the only actual fundamental right that concerns anyone when it comes to the debate of abortion. And it's the only right that is being violated over and over and over again when abortion is committed, because that child that lives inside that woman is denied and is robbed of its right to life because it already is alive. Once again, the stage in which it finds itself, whether it is 2 days old, 12 weeks old, whether it's in or outside of the womb, cannot be indicative of whether it has value and whether it has the right to life. A lot of people who are alive outside of the womb, whether they're young children or whether they're adults, people with disabilities or elderly, are dependent on others for their survival. It does not make their life worth less, and we never argue that we should just kill them. But for some reason, when it comes to that baby inside a mother's womb, we talk about it very easily. There are many lies being told about it, of course, that it's not alive, that it's just a clump of cells, because that makes the act of taking it away, of killing it, a lot more easy. Obviously, it's something that you then don't have to feel any guilt about. It's something that you don't have to worry about. It's something that you don't have to suffer the consequences of for the rest of your life, which I think in many cases, most women who actually commit abortion do, because deep down they feel that they did something wrong. They feel the pain of losing that child. And of course, that's where it comes to the painful truth about abortion. If it is not your body and not your choice, if it is a separate human being, a separate entity living in your womb, and you kill that, you kill the most innocent being on the planet of the earth. You kill something so fragile, something so worthy of love and life. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't want to even admit to. I think it would break them because either they have committed abortion themselves, they've encouraged others, or just thinking about the numbers of children that have died as a result of all of these lies that have been perpetuated is a lot to take. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do that. It doesn't mean that it is any less true. Especially not because as long as we continue to perpetuate the lie that it's just a clump of cells and that your desire to not have to think about the consequences of sex, to not have to take precautions if you'd want to, because there are many ways, of course, in this modern day and age in which you can avoid conception, if even that is too much of a responsibility, or if I don't know, any reason that is trumpeted all the time as to why women should have the right to abort. If that is more important, and if that is not countered well, then this is going to continue at the rate in which it has been for all of these years, and that needs to stop. That needs to stop. And that's my view on this. It's we have to constantly keep countering the lie that abortion is a right. It's not a right. You can have the desire not to want to have a child, but it doesn't make it a right. It does not. You are killing a life. You are taking away somebody else's right. That unborn child's right to life. And that's what we have to keep on saying, I believe. And so, yeah, having, I could go on forever. Having become a mother also, of course, has made this more personal to me, which I think is a good thing, because I have gone through the process of conceiving a life. I have gone through the process of carrying a life within my womb, and I've gone through the process of delivering that life and holding that life in my arms. And that little boy that I hold in my arms right now is just as valuable as he was when he was just conceived. He's just as valuable as he was when he was 2 weeks old inside the womb as he is now. And so I don't want anyone to miss out on that joy either, of becoming a mother, of having that life inside your arms. Because then once it's there, also nothing else matters, trust me. And so yes, this is personal. Of course it's personal. But once again, even without it being personal, even without having become a mom, we need to look at this factually. And so that means that you need to make a decision about where you stand, and that if you come to the conclusion, which once again is the only intellectually coherent conclusion, I believe, that a life starts at conception, and that there is another life that is worthy of protection, then abortion needs to end.